Hi everyone! Welcome to Mr. Wickins Reads The Outlaw Varjak Paw by S.F. Said and Dave McKeen. How could I forget that? I've said it so many times. Dave McKeen. There are some brilliant illustrations in this chapter, so I'm going to try my best to show you. This is chapter 2. How amazing was chapter 1? Literally cliffhanger from the word go. So we're on chapter 2. Shout out! I need to shout out to Fionn and Jocelyn, all the way up in Lichfield. Hello, Fionn and Jocelyn. Hope you're enjoying it so far. If you want any shout outs, please remind me of people's names because I won't remember. So just, give me some names and I will definitely shout them out. Brilliant. Okay. Chapter 2. Oh, by the way, the surprise that I mentioned yesterday, the big surprise, isn't going to happen next week. It's going to happen the week after. Okay, it's a really good surprise. I cannot wait to show you all. And by the way, if you're doing any artwork, if you could think of any artwork at all, or any poems or any writing, please send them to me and I will show them, because last time you had some amazing artwork that you sent in, and all those kind of things, and I will definitely show them up when I read the chapters. So here we go, chapter 2. Oh, what happened? Oh, yes. What you're going to do is give that mash to us, was the last words we heard in chapter 1. Chapter 2. Varjak turned. Oh, no. There were 4 cats at the top of the alley. Big, brawny cats with short, bristling fur. They swaggered forwards through the snow, tails thudding behind them. "It's a patrol from Sally Bones's gang," hissed Holly. Sirens wailed in the city night. But Varjak and Holly couldn't run. Tam was still in the dump. "Tam, come on," urged Holly. Cludge whined softly, crouching down in the rubbish as the patrol crunched through the snow towards them. Varjak could taste his friend's fear on the sharp, cold air. Or was it his own fear, quickening his pulse, stiffening his spine? Sally Bones wasn't among them, but Varjak recognised 2 of her captains. Leading the patrol was Luger, a grey cat with a flat snub nose and emotionless eyes. He looked perfectly calm and poised. But in his every step was the threat of violence. He walked like he owned the streets. Behind him stalked Razor, a tiger-striped tomcat. He was twice Varjak's size, taller, broader, bigger in every way. They'd fought last time they'd met. Razor had the edge. Varjak had used the way to defend himself, but Sally Bones had stepped in and ended the fight, brushing them both aside with ease. Look at that. Absolutely brilliant artwork. Varjak still remembered the thin white cat's ice blue eye burning into his mind, still heard her voice echoing from his head. "Where did you learn that? Who taught you?" Because that was when he realised the way wasn't just his secret. She knew it too. "Varjak Paw," said Luger, his voice as cold as metal. "And Holly, what are you doing here? Making trouble again?" "Oh, no," said Holly. "No trouble at all." Her voice was gravelly as ever, but her whiskers were stiff with the tension. Above them, the street lamp crackled and fizzed. Behind Luger, Razor scowled. His face was covered in scars. "Hanging round with dogs now, are you?" he said, brash and loud. "Don't you know how wrong that is? It's enough to make you sick." The rest of the patrol looked at Cludge and flexed their claws. The big dog blinked. "Cludge won't hurt you," said Varjak, trying to sound calm, though his stomach felt tight and his mouth had gone dry. "Wasn't talking to you," snapped Razor. His tail flicked cockily in the snow. "The boss has taught us how to deal with dogs. Don't try anything doggy or you'll get hurt." Cludge was so much bigger, yet Razor seemed so sure of himself. "Don't even look at them, Cludge," thought Varjak. "We don't want any trouble. We just want them to go away." Cludge looked down, very still and silent. Snow settled on his coat. "Good," said Luger, cool as ice. "Now, we're searching for a pair of outlaws. Twin cats. One big, one bigger. Have you seen them? No outlaws here, said Holly. We're just talking. You've been hunting, said Razor. He licked his lips. Look, Luger, they got a mouse. It's ages since we've had mouse. His tail flicked. Give it over, now. Varjak looked at his mouse. Snow swirled through the alley. I said, give me that mouse, repeated Razor. Luger watched with emotionless eyes. Varjak's heart thumped in his throat. He felt dizzy. He was so hungry. He'd been searching all day for this mouth. Give him the mouse, said Varjak, whispered Holly. Why should I? The words slipped out of his mouth before he could stop them. He stared down at the snow. He couldn't believe what he'd just said. Razor's ears twitched like he couldn't believe it either. Then his fur puffed up. His muscles rippled under his stripy coat. You'll do it because it's the law, he growled. If you're not in our gang, you can't hunt mice. You have to eat rubbish. The wind whipped into Varjak's face. The law? He'd never heard of the law. He was still so new to the city. Maybe Holly knew about it, but she looked troubled. Wait, she said. That's the law in Sally Bones' territory, on the west side. No one else would hunt there. No one would even go there. But this is the city centre. It's neutral ground, free for all. Not anymore, said Luger. What do you mean? Said Holly. What about us cats who live in the centre? You will obey the law, said Luger coldly. Anyone who breaks the law will be taken before Sally Bones and punished. Now, Varjak Paw, give Razor that mouse. There was no arguing with Luger. He spoke of the law with absolute authority in a voice as harsh and as cold as winter. Even Holly had no answer to him. Varjak shivered. He surrendered the mouse without a fight, without even a word. He stood there silent and let Razor snatch it away from him. The cats gobbled it down. They licked their lips. Then the rusty gate rattled, and Tam came out of the dump, swinging her bushy tail proudly behind her. Hey, Varjak, I found something good to eat buried at the back, she said, and then she saw the patrol and her tail curled up. Luger, she stuttered. Razor? Tam, said Razor. Always thinking about food, aren't you fat enough already? The gang cats cackled. Tam tried to laugh along with them, but all that came out of her mouth was a strangled-sounding noise. Enough, snapped Luger. The cackling stopped dead. This dump belongs to Sally Bones now. If there's anything good to eat in there, it's ours. He turned to the patrol. Uzi, Shane, come with me. Razor, stay here and guard these cats till we come back. Do it properly this time, and perhaps we'll save you a scrap. Luger and the others went through the gate. Tam shuddered as they passed her. Razor stood there in the snow, tail swishing furiously behind him. Right, he growled at Varjak and his friends when the others were gone. You three better not mess things up for me. Tam, you're in such big trouble. You were breaking the law, and you know what happens to lawbreakers? The scars on his face twisted up like snakes. They get Sally Bones' punishment. Tam flinched at the word. Please, no, she gulped. Razor leaned in close to her. He ran a claw along the edge of her ear. Tam flinched away, but Razor moved faster. He came in low behind her and bit her bushy tail hard. Stop it, shrieked Tam. Leave me alone. Varjak clenched his paws. He was getting angry. All that talk of the law had confused him, but now he knew what was going on. This was bullying. He'd grown up being bullied by his brother, and he did not like it one bit. He wanted it to stop. He caught Kludge's eye and nodded. The black dog stood up to his full height and shook the snow from his coat. Enough! Kludge growled at Razor. Razor turned to face him. All around them the wind was rising and getting colder. I'm not scared of you, said Razor. A pack of dogs, that's scary, but without a pack, a little doggy on his own is nothing. Kludge got a pack, got friends. You leave Kludge's friends alone. Your friends are cats, jeered Razor, as the snow pelted down around them. "You should stick with your own kind, you stupid stinking moron." "What's wrong? Don't you have a doggies talk to you any more?" Kludge's black eyes clouded over. He began to quake. He leaned in close to Razor so his muzzle was just above the tomcat's head, and then he roared a mighty deafening roar like thunder. Varjak grinned. "Go on, Kludge," he thought. "Razor thinks he's so tough. Let's see how tough he is now." But Razor stood his ground and exploded into action. His claws arced up and slashed a vicious curve through Kludge's soft, wet nose. The big dog howled. He twisted away, turning his face left and right, spraying blood into the snow. He stumbled back from Razor's claws and hid behind Varjak, trembling, whimpering, bleeding from the nose. It was over. Varjak's stomach turned to liquid. Razor strutted before them, tail held insolently high and proud, fur rippling in triumph. "Who else wants a fight?" he crowed. "You, Varjak Paw, you were lucky last time. If the boss hadn't cut in, I'd have had you. But they never let me forget it, never." He bared his teeth. "This time, you're mine." And here came Razor, big, brawny, barging towards him through the snow. No time to think. There's only one thing for it. The way. The fighting skills. Fourth skill, slow time. Varjak breathed deep and counted. In, 2, 3, 4. The world seemed to shimmer. Out, 2, 3, 4. Everything slowed down. In, 2, 3, 4. But Varjak felt fast. Out, 2, 3, 4. Power rose up inside him. Now the fifth skill, moving circles. He made the power flow into a circle of pure energy, hot and strong in the winter night. Wow. "Look!" cried Tam. "Look, he's shimmering." "Varjak, no!" warned Holly. "He'll kill you." Wind streaked through Varjak's fur. Snow spiraled down around him. He braced himself, and as Razor sprang through the air, he spun his moving circle out to meet him. Smash! The impact knocked Varjak off his paws, but the moving circle held true. He rolled with the blow. He twisted, he turned, and tipped Razor off balance. Razor recovered fast. He lashed out with his back legs, slashed Varjak's face. It was a fearsome kick, and it connected with brutal accuracy. Blood splattered in the snow around them. Varjak was cut. He ignored the stinging pain, gathered his power, and let the energy rise up in him, let it build, and as Razor came in to finish him, he unleashed it in a blinding burst of force. Slam! Razor blinked, his legs gave way, the big cat sank to the ground. Varjak dived in, pinned him, held him down, the energy blazed through him. Slam, slam, slam! He pounded Razor again and again. The power was so strong it filled his mind. He couldn't stop. "I'm going to teach Razor a lesson," he thought. "This bully who's hurt my friends and stolen my food, I'm going to smash him up so badly he'll never fight again." "Varjak!" He heard a gravelly voice far away, Holly's voice. He stopped, hitting Razor, and turned round. Holly was right behind him. "Varjak, that's enough." He looked down at Razor. The tiger-striped Tom was gazing up at him, helpless, dazed, bloodied. He was almost out cold. One more hit, and he'd have been finished. Varjak started to shake. What had he done? He'd lost control. Lost it completely. He dropped his paws and put away his claws. He stood up and let Razor go free. "What?" gasped Razor, blinking. Aren't you gonna..." "No," said Varjak. He was shaking with the force of it. Holly, Tam and Kludge were looking at him, eyes wide. "Let's get out of here," said Holly, "before Luger and the others get back." And that's the end of chapter 2. Wow. Whoa, sorry if that was a bit violent. That was incredible. So, Varjak's got all his power, but is it out of control? What's going on? Oh, man, I mean, what do you think? Let me know. And I'll see you for chapter 3 tomorrow at 6:30. Brilliant. Until then, keep the way alive and don't let it get out of control. All right. Cheers. Bye-bye.